What is up, you Junkamaniacs? This is Michael the Bear Hayes.
And Josh the Otter Hollums.
And welcome to Squared Circle Junkies. Today we are going to cover one of our favorite factions of WWE, the Hardy Boyz, Matt and Jeff.
Hell yeah. We'll be talking about the two of them together and separately and hopefully as much in a chronological timeline as possible. But we'll see how it goes. We love tangents.
Yep.
But I guess before we get started on the Hardy Boyz, I know you had some wrestling news you want to tell me about.
Yeah,
so
I got a little
let me
bit.
hear what you got.
All right.
I've been out of the loop this past week.
So I got 4 topics to talk about. One is Cody Rhodes. I read where they are pretty much done with the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns.
Already?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
There's no plans for a second match.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I actually have 5 things. I didn't write the other one down. I just remembered it.
I don't know. I feel like what they're going to do with him is probably give him a little bit of a break and kind of fight other bigger people. Probably make us back to Roman Reigns at some point.
I hope so, because that was a really good match, and I don't know. I just really want Cody to go further.
Me too. I hope he becomes a champion at least, if not, both.
Yeah. Second thing that I got is this is going to be Lita's last run.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Another correction. I have 6 things.
Okay.
I just remembered another one.
Yeah.
Okay. Following that, Trish is going for gold.
Ooh, like which one?
I don't know. That's the question. Because the draft is coming up.
Yeah, and she's on that heel turn right now. But who is she? What brand is she with then? Or is she a free agent right now?
I think she's on Raw.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
So that would be Bianca.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one.
Yeah. That'd be really good. Another one is going back to one of last week's topics between Vicky Guerrero and her daughter. Vicky is taking her daughter to court over this. If you don't know what we talked about, apparently Eddie Guerrero's daughter has said that her stepdad has sexually attacked her or abused her, and Vicky Guerrero has taken his side instead of his daughter's, or her daughter's. But yeah, now she's taking her to court over this.
Like for defamation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Defamation and some other stuff.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna take it that far to court?
Yeah.
Well, I hope she loses, and I don't know if money would change hands or not, but
Yeah.
I hope there's some sort of like vindication for the daughter.
Yeah, I do too. The last 2 things, AJ Styles is going to be returning very soon. I didn't know. I didn't know
he was even gone.
Yeah, I didn't know that he had been out. Apparently, he had broken his ankle back in December.
I wonder when that could have been.
I saw a clip of it. I can't remember who he was fighting, but they went to. He was Irish whipped, and the guy had threw him out of the ring, like over the top rope. And
Yeah.
I guess he landed on his ankle.
Was it the match against Finn Balor at Extreme Rules, or was that earlier in the?
I think.
Was that not in December?
I don't think that was it. But anyway, he's supposed to be returning soon.
Okay. Any news on Randy Orton?
No news on Randy. I'm eager to see him return.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, AJ Styles, he's a good one. Always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, especially these days in TNA.
Oh, definitely. Okay, and the last thing. This was a big one because we had just got done talking about Legacy. And there's about to be some shit.
Oh, you know what? I think we're talking about with DiBiase Jr., right?
Yes, sir.
He's getting. I forget what it is now though, but I saw something about it. What happened?
He is looking at decades in prison.
For what?
Financial fraud.
Oh.
Millions.
I guess that's how they got that $1 million title.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that's the big one for me this week.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, when I saw that he was facing decades, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And he's got He's got like 6 counts of financial fraud and a couple other counts for some other stuff I can't remember.
Yeah, I did see that, and probably millions of dollars he'd have to pay too, right?
Yeah. So
that's messed up. I honestly forgot about that. I was wondering too where he was. So what's he doing now?
Yeah, he's running a real estate.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
And that's probably a front.
Yeah.
A shell company.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess he's getting people for their money. So, go big or go home.
I guess. That's pretty funny, just given that his dad was $1 million man. You know, it's like, I guess trying to get to $1 million just like his dad, and couldn't just earn it.
See, I don't know much about Ted DiBiase except he was the one that brought in Undertaker.
Yeah, and Steve Austin.
Yeah.
As, what do they call him? The ringmaster.
Yeah, ringmaster.
We got to do an episode about Steve Austin.
Oh, definitely.
We'll get there at some point.
But today, Matt and Jeff.
Team Extreme.
Matt Hardy version .1. And the charismatic enigma.
Yes.
Jeff Hardy.
Or Willow the Wizard.
Willow the Wisp.
Oh, the Wisp.
Yeah, the Wisp.
Okay. I don't know what's a wisp.
I have no idea.
That's funny.
All right, so to start this off,
also, I got to shout out the fact that you're wearing a Hardy Boyz t-shirt for this occasion.
Vintage
Hardy Boyz.
Hardy Boyz, like back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, my fiance got it for me for my birthday. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, to kick off this episode, I mean, just a fact, you know, Hardys, they were pretty much raised by their dad.
Yeah.
Their mom had died back in 1987 of brain cancer.
I didn't know it was that far back, 87.
I didn't either. They were both pretty young. But, you know, they overcame it, and they are some of the biggest stars in wrestling, in my opinion.
Probably one of the most decorated tag teams, and not just in WWE, like all over the planet. So
all over the place.
Yeah, we'll get there at some point too as well.
All right. So, what is your connection to Matt and Jeff?
Well, let me see if I remember correctly. I don't know. I think when I first started watching it, I think Jeff still may have been at TNA, and we'll get to that at some point. I think Jeff may still have been at TNA. So I knew Matt Hardy first, and I remembered he still wore the same kind of pants, but he started getting the colors in them, you know, like the red and orange and camouflage.
He had the camo
all
pants.
Of stuff. Yeah, he had all kind. That was when he was version 1, but I don't think at the time I really understood that he was version 1. But I know it's probably 2008 that I just was in love with Jeff Hardy and wanted to always plays him in the games. If I ever wrestled a friend, plays him there. You know, just he was awesome, especially that time when he was becoming the champion.
Oh yeah.
And of course, just knowing them at the time, you hear about the tag team stuff. Go back and see that, and that's, you know, we'll get there too. But that's all some crazy stuff.
The tag team definitely. Were you done?
Yeah, I was done.
Okay. For me, you know, I've been watching it longer than you. Just, you know, I would miss the pay-per-views, but then the next night on Raw, watching the replay of it and all the crazy shit that Jeff did and Matt, to be honest, it was just mind-boggling. And Jeff has always been one of my favorites because he's a high flyer. I tend to attach myself to them. And that Swanton Bomb, it's just beautiful.
I also want to say, I feel like another thing that makes Jeff Hardy stand out, especially when I started watching him in like the late 2000s, was there weren't a whole lot of wrestlers that were like bright in color. Not that necessarily they all wore black, but a little more muted. It was a little more focused on like the athleticism and not like, I mean, still character driven, but yeah, I think like that's another reason why too. Just being a kid, you want to get those armbands, and when your face painted like Jeff Hardy, you know.
See, I was him for Halloween one year.
I think I was too.
And I was going for the traditional Hardy Boyz look, you know. I had the black pants, I had a tank top.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find any fishnet shirts. But my grandmother, she found the armbands, and turns out it's just pantyhose.
Yeah.
So she cut holes in them, and I did all that. And I was supposed to have colorful hair like Jeff, but I can't remember who bought the wig, but somebody had bought a black wig.
Yeah.
Because I was going to spray paint different colors on a blonde wig. So my wig just turned out black and really dark green.
I don't know. I don't think I even tried to get long hair. I think my hair was probably the length yours is, and I was just had the face paint and the armbands on. And that one shirt he had, it just had his face on it. It's nothing too specific I can talk about. But
Jeff, I had so many action figures. I have all his DVDs.
Yeah, I've got.
Well,
I only have one, and I mean I don't know if it's necessarily his, but No Way Out 2008, where he was on the cover. I have that. I have that DVD still.
I got
not the case anymore, but just the DVD.
I got the Twist of Fate DVD.
Nice.
The one that's just called Ladder Match. But I got that on VHS.
Nice.
That's how old that one is.
Yeah.
And there's another one that they had. I can't remember. Anyway.
Well, I know they had a YouTube channel. You remember that?
I do.
From the Hardyz compound.
Jackie had mentioned that the other day, and some of those home videos are in the Twist of Fate DVD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you still find them on YouTube, or are they gone?
I'm sure you can. I haven't checked.
I haven't looked either. I feel like it'd probably maybe a little too cringy now.
Probably.
Yeah. That's something I'm excited to get to, too. Just a random thought I had in my head was is the Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt matches later on, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
because that was some of those cool cinematic ones. I wanna watch those, and I want to go over those at some point while we're talking about it.
Real quick, let's go back to news because you just triggered something else.
What you got?
I don't know what's going on with Bray Wyatt, but I saw where it said do not expect Bray Wyatt to be a part of the draft of this year because he is still out dealing with his issues, whatever his issues are.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
somebody was saying that they just hate the new, like the Fiend gimmick.
Yeah.
And the Howdy, Mr. Howdy, or Uncle Howdy. That's what it is. They just hate that gimmick, and they just want him to go back to the Wyatt family gimmick, which would be great.
That would be cool because that's probably his most successful point of his career.
But
back then,
Luke Harper is no longer with us.
Yeah. And
neither is Rowan. I mean, Rowan, he's still alive, but he's with, I think, Ring of Honor now.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah.
AEW, Ring of Honor, one of those.
Yeah. But Braun Strowman, but, he was only a part of the Wyatt family for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, they could add in new cult members to the family. Well, family members, I meant to say. Yeah, go ahead. We don't want to go too much on Bray Wyatt, but I feel like people were expecting a lot, but he hadn't been around for that long. Hadn't been back for that long, I mean. And in wrestling, it's really hard to get a mystic character over. You need, like The Undertaker. If they didn't let it build up in time, he wouldn't have lasted 30 years.
I think The Undertaker, he's the mystic.
Yeah, I mean, at some point we'll see that the Hardy Boyz maybe went a little supernatural.
Yeah.
A little bit, but
may not have been the best.
Yeah, but the Undertaker is definitely, if I had to guess about any other mystical characters.
And Kane.
Yeah, but they're so interconnected. I just kind of think of them hand in hand.
Yeah.
Well, either way, let's jump into the episode. I know they were both born in North Carolina, but I forget the town. Do you remember the town?
Cameron.
Cameron, that's what it was. I was thinking Charlotte, but that was in South Carolina, I think.
Cameron, North Carolina. They're both coming in at a whopping 6'2".
They're both 6'2"?
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. I didn't know they were at the same height.
Yeah, I didn't either. You got Matt born September 23rd, 74, and Jeff, he was born in August 31st, 77. However, that really doesn't matter because we're going to focus on matches and stuff. I don't know why I wrote it.
No, that's good stuff to have. That's great. I mean, you guys set up the backstory of them as people as well as their characters.
Yeah. Okay, so they actually started their own wrestling promotion called Omega.
Yeah, I forgot what it stands for, though. Do you remember?
The Organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts.
Yep. Because I think before that they had like their own amateur trampoline
wrestling.
Yep.
Trampoline wrestling.
Yep.
But and turns out there were a lot. I can't say a lot, but other people, that they grew up with who are also WWE stars that wrestled with them in Omega.
Who are those?
Their best friends, Gregory Helms, aka the Hurricane,
Yep.
and Joey Mercury.
Oh, I didn't know he was like a friend of theirs, like before wrestling.
I didn't either.
I thought you were gonna say who's the other guy that was with Matt?
And Shannon Moore.
Shannon Moore, that's his name.
I used to like Shannon Moore.
Yeah. I don't know if I really remember him that well. I don't think I saw that much of the V1 Hardy.
I liked him because he was like the punk.
Oh yeah.
Like the punk rocker. He
Yeah.
had the mohawk and eyeliner and shit.
Mm.
But yeah, Joey Mercury, I had no idea that they were friends with him way back when.
Me neither.
And I only say that because of the infamous ladder match we will talk about later.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
But yeah, they started their own promotion and it went on until 2002.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Were they still wrestling in at that time too? Or they step away and it was other people? Probably. I mean, they were like especially huge at that point, right? As a tag team?
Yeah, they held tag titles for them. And here's what blew my mind. I'm about to throw your mind for a loop too, probably. Okay, so this is just going from some of the notes that I have. They held titles for Omega. They held now these are just tag titles.
Yeah.
Omega, Ring of Honor.
I knew about that one, yeah.
WCW.
I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did know that actually, yeah.
WWF/WWE.
Yeah.
TNA. And I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it.
I could have sworn. You know what? You keep talking. I saw something on Instagram earlier. Maybe I can find it again.
Okay.
About some more belts.
So they started as a tag team in 1993.
Back in '93, where were they? Were they with WWE at the time, fighting with each other or as each other then?
I'm not sure.
Because I want to say Jeff's first match was like '94, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get to that at some point.
Well, I was about to get.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But I don't remember he went under a different name. And a little side note, I'm pretty sure you know this, but if you don't, you're about to. He was actually underage at his very first match.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he pretended he lied somehow and got on there saying he was 18.
Yep, and his first match was against Razor Ramon.
Yep, Razor Ramon, yeah.
Yeah. Which, that was just cool to me, Jeff, he looked nothing like he does now.
No, he had, I want to say, bright green tights.
Yep, bright green
blonde
tights.
hair.
And it was like a bad Vanilla Ice haircut.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do see another one. MCW, I'm not sure what that stands for, but they were champions for whatever organization that is.
Okay.
And then here's this other one, but I can't quite make out what the belt is.
I see.
Hold on. It's got like a weird name, I can't really tell.
Something party.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't tell. Anyway, yeah, they are definitely one of the most decorated tag teams of the wrestling industry.
Definitely.
Team Extreme. There's nothing else to it. Let's just end the show now.
Yep, that's it. That's all we got to say.
But no. So yeah, it started in '93. They also held the NWA tag team titles.
I did not know that one.
Yeah.
Because WCW, you tricked me for a second. Because I was like, when were they in WCW before I went down? And they were the champions when the invasion happened.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to ruin that because I know we'll get that at some point. But you tricked me there. I was like, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I remembered.
But yeah, they officially joined WWF in '97.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they were just kind of they were called jobbers.
Yeah, jobbers. Yep.
Yeah, and if you don't know what a jobber is, it is basically the person who will lose the match just to make the other superstar look good.
Yeah, they also use the term enhancement talent.
Yep.
That's probably like the technical term. Yep. I don't know. But yeah, and sometimes unfortunately that happens with wrestlers who are big and eventually just lose their fame. But it also happens with people who are first getting into the wrestling game. A lot of them will lose a bunch of matches to bigger guys and eventually start working their way into making their name. And luckily it helps with the Hardy Boys that they were brothers going into it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that a little later on.
Mm-hmm.
But as a tag team, their very first manager was none other.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I have no relation to this person. I wish that I did, but I don't. Michael Hayes. Michael P.S. Hayes of the Flying Freebirds.
Yep.
Or Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Because if you go back and look at those images of them together, they dressed Terry Hayes up like them.
Yep.
There was at the time where they were wearing, I think Matt would wear like a red tight, really tight red shirt. Jeff would wear like black or whatever.
Yep.
They didn't quite wear their wrist, the colorful bands yet. I think they were still wearing just like black sleeves. And the biggie, the big pants. And
Matt, he always had just black hair.
Yeah.
At that time, Jeff had his long hair, and it was just blonde with like black under highlights or something.
And they would have it. Well, no, I'm thinking of Gangrel before I get to where I'm going.
Oh yeah. But so yeah, they were first managed by Michael Hayes, and they went on to beat the Acolytes, aka the APA, Bradshaw and Farouk, aka Ron Simmons. Damn.
Yep.
But when they beat them, they actually ditched Michael Hayes, and they ditched him, and that's when they hired Gangrel.
And it became the New Brood, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And the New Brood was just amazing.
Well, a little bit of context. The original Brood, that would be with Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
The two of them. And I don't quite know that story well enough to know why they left or he left and then joined with the Hardy Boys. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, we'll do a deep dive on Edge and Christian another time.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're, again, another great tag team. You're going to hear a lot of great tag teams in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they hired Gangrel, and that's when they had the very first ever tag team ladder match.
Nice. So it wasn't TLC yet. It was just ladder match. Okay.
It was just the very first tag team ladder match, and it was against Edge and Christian.
Oh, wow. Oh, were they fighting like in support of Gangrel or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And the Hardys ended up winning, and they dumped Gangrel, and then let's see if I can pronounce this right. They went on to fight in the Terry Reynolds I can't.
Do you have it written down?
No, I don't.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's just a long word.
Oh, okay.
It's just a match. But they had Terry Reynolds. They won whatever that match was. They had Terry Reynolds as their manager then.
I don't even remember who Terry Reynolds is.
Like a short blonde.
Oh, no.
And, she was later on in the Attitude Era. She was with Perry Saturn.
Oh, I thought this was a man. Terry Reynolds. It just sounds kind of like a man's name. Okay, gotcha. I knew what you were talking about now. Yeah.
Okay.
She was, same thing. She was like an older person with these like young guys.
Yeah.
Wasn't she kind of older? I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, but
not back then. They were like early 20s. She was probably like 40s.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Not super old.
Yeah.
But older than they are.
Just a little bit of an age gap. But then we hit WrestleMania 2000. The year 2000. I don't know what WrestleMania that was.
That may have just been called WrestleMania 2000, right?
It may have been.
Or was it one of those things where WrestleMania 2000 is actually like 1999?
Probably.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll look it up.
So, WrestleMania 2000. No, I'm sorry. That was the match with the Terry Reynolds thing. Edge and Christian. They fought Edge and Christian again. And this just started a huge feud between the Hardys and Edge and Christian. And, Edge and Christian at the time, best friends. They had completely different music. It was actually Rob Zombie, Never Gonna Stop Me. Yeah. And I used to go insane. Edge kind of still had the same look, just longer hair.
Yeah, and his tights, he didn't have the rated R superstar look yet, so his tights were a little different, but it was like the same look, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the pattern was different.
He had like flames, whatever, on the side.
I do want to say that it was WrestleMania 2000 was in 2000.
Okay.
It just sounds like WWE does that all the time where they'll name something as something that it isn't. So
yeah, that started their feud with Edge and Christian. And then we hit TLC 1. And SummerSlam.
Oh, I'm thinking of TLC 2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
SummerSlam of 2000.
Nice.
So that was the very first tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Yeah.
Oh my!
And that was just the 4 of them, or the Dudley Boys a part of it too?
The Dudleys. I think the Dudleys were part of it too.
So it was a 3-man or a 3-team.
I honestly can't remember.
I'll look that up.
Yeah.
Because I got confused. I think TLC 2 was in WrestleMania 17, right?
Yes.
Because it's 2001. I'm pretty sure it is. I feel like I've heard Stone Cold talk about like how that's just one of the best WrestleManias because all the matches were great. That was we'll talk about it, but that one huge spot that happened.
I'm sorry.
You didn't hear what I said?
I was
Oh,
reading.
you're good. I was saying that I think it is WrestleMania 17 because that's the one where Ed, the big spot happens.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to spoil it because we're
yeah,
going to explain it here in a minute.
Yep,
But
you're right. You are right. Okay. While you're looking that up, I'm gonna hit a little bit on Jeff, like just Jeff, because we already hit on his first match with Razor Ramon. This happens later on. Well, no, okay, you know what? No, I'm just gonna shut up about that. You know?
Yeah, and I keep wanting to I'm so excited, I just want to get it out there.
I know.
But I want to build it up to something.
Yeah, because if we don't, we're just gonna go all over the place. Okay, so if you don't know, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys, they are the innovators of the TLC. Mm-hmm. So they had to have been a part of it.
Probably, yeah, because I couldn't imagine. Yep, it was. SummerSlam 2000 was Edge and Christian versus the Hardys versus Dudleys.
Okay, because you have the Hardys, they are very ladder-driven. Mm-hmm. Edge and Christian, they're chairs. And the Dudley Boys are obviously, we want tables.
That's so cool. I never made that connection before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. I never made that connection. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. You said it's all that?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
For that, at least. But yeah, TLC won. Trying to remember who won.
I feel like TLC 2, I like that one better. So I know that one a little bit more. It's a little more in my memory than TLC 1.
Yeah.
But let me see who the winners were.
I do know in TLC 1, there was a big spot where Jeff Hardy he climbed a 20-foot ladder and he went to do a swanton on Bubba Ray Dudley, who was on a table. And Bubba had rolled off.
Because that was over like where the crowd.
It was on the ramp.
I was on the ramp. Okay, I must be thinking TLC 2.
Yeah, it was on the ramp. It's just, I'm just so excited to talk about this. I just want to go all over the place, but I know we're trying to keep it in.
Yeah, the best we can. I mean, it's not super integral.
All right, so TLC 1, TLC 2, amazing matches. If you haven't seen them, please go check them out.
Yes.
Vintage, Hardy's, Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys. Go ahead. I know you got something.
Well, maybe I shouldn't say who wins then. Because if no one's seen it and they go to check it out, I don't want to ruin the ending for them.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, screw it. It's been 20 plus years. Edge and Christian win the match.
I remember now because they put 2 ladders side by side, and then they put a table on top of it, and they stood on it and grabbed the belt.
Oh, okay.
They grabbed the belts. So yeah, I remember it now.
Okay, I forgot about how that one ended.
Oh man!
Anything else big happened with the team or any of them in 2000, or should we move on to TLC 2?
Let's go ahead and move on to TLC 2.
Okay, sweet. That's the next one I can imagine is the next big step.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so TLC 2, WrestleMania 17, probably it's usually regarded as one of the best WrestleManias. I can't remember all the matches. Of course, Steve Austin and The Rock, and that was the moment where Steve Austin turns heel for the first time since '97 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I think isn't that when Brock Lesnar versed Kurt Angle?
I think that's that might be that one. I don't remember. You talking about the one where he almost breaks his neck?
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's that one or not. I don't think so. I don't know if Brock Lesnar was there.
He may not
quite
be.
yet in April 2001. I'm not totally sure.
Anyway.
But, so yeah, TLC 2, it's just another rematch. I mean, not just another. It, like, takes it to the next level. It's even better than the first one. But we got the Dudleys versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian again for the Tag Team Championships. This one, probably one of my favorites, like, matches just in general to always watch because of all those crazy spots.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, one move I love that the Hardys do, and I'm going to try my best to explain it through podcasts so people maybe can understand. Whenever they both jump over a ladder and then they meet each other down, and usually,
Yep.
I think usually Jeff does just like a normal stomach drop,
Yep.
and Matt does a leg drop. I love when just the way they look jumping over the ladders and
Yeah.
doing that move together.
And that's another thing that Jeff does when he turns the ladder. You know, he's standing on the top turnbuckle, and he has the ladder like
Position in front of it and his legs where they're kind of going the same.
the same as the ladder legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he leapfrogs over it and does a leg drop.
Yeah, just kind of I love that move.
I love it so much.
I used to, as a kid, like, if you could ever get your hands on like a ladder next to the trampoline while you're wrestling and you get a chance to jump off that was like the best feeling.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I used to do. Okay.
What's that?
And it's pretty embarrassing, but I was a kid. So everything you do is either cute or stupid.
Yeah.
So I used to have this little stuffed Rottweiler. And I used to beat the shit out of it, you know.
Yeah.
Just I would be watching wrestling with my grandparents, and whatever I thought I could do, I would do it. So my grandmother or grandparents, they had this. You know how old couches, they had, like, instead of it being just one thing, it had, like, pillows?
Yeah.
I would take the middle pillow, and I would stand it up. Somehow I got that thing to stand up. And I had the dog laying on the ground on a pillow.
Yeah.
And I would run to the kitchen, because the kitchen and living room connected. And I would just take off running, and I would do a leapfrog over that pillow and do a leg drop on that dog.
So crazy doing that stuff as a kid. It felt like so awesome and huge, but I can imagine now if you see a kid do it, it would just be like the smallest, thing.
You know, me and Ezra, we wrestle all the time. I'll do the rock bottom on him.
Yeah, I did that one earlier.
He'll he does something kind of like a coup de grace with his knees.
Yeah, he did that earlier too.
But anyway, yeah, I used to wrestle that dog all the time, and all of my moves would be based off of the Hardys usually.
Yeah, I know this is just a random thought because it's not really Hardy Boy related, but I had this like tub for my toys, and it was almost like a trash can lid to the top of it. So I remember I forget what kind of stuffed animal it must have been, or maybe just a pillow. I would set it up in front of the pillow and do a coast to coast and jump straight into the trash can lid, or the plastic toy lid.
Oh yeah. But I would do that leg drop. I would do I can't think what it's called. The Undertaker, where he runs and jumps over the top rope.
Oh, the planchette, I think.
Yeah, the planchette. I would do that. I would do so many things, and it would hurt.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. Just got up and kept doing it.
Man, I would love to be able to get into a ring now.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I don't think I could do it just right away. I need to learn, but I feel like it'd be pretty easy.
I'll do it. See my fat ass rolling around in that ring? I'll do it.
It'd be fun. Even just for like a day. It doesn't have to be for long. Just to try it, it'd be fun.
Yes. I just want to see what it feels like, what it actually feels like.
Yeah.
But let's get back to this. We love our tangents. So yeah, TLC 2. You want to talk about that spot?
Yes.
That you ever so love?
Yes. Okay, so once again, I'll try to explain it over this medium. So Jeff is reaching for the belts, and he's kind of doing the same thing you mentioned, where he's got one foot on both sides of the ladder steps, and Edge is on the other one, kind of facing him. And I think it's Bubba Ray grabs the ladder and pulls it away from Jeff, so that way Jeff's just dangling. And when Jeff kind of swings back towards Edge, Edge does this perfect spear. And it's got to be 15 feet off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And just spears Jeff straight into the mat. And I think, not right after, but pretty much soon after that, that's when Matt and Dudley have that big spot where there's like 4 tables stacked on top of each other.
Yep.
And then a ladder gets pushed while they're on top of it, and they go sinking through it. But yeah, I love that spot.
Yeah, I love that spot too. And the part that I love about it is the most ridiculous thing.
What's that?
When they land, Jeff is obviously landing on his back, but when he did, he turned his head a certain way, and in that match, that's when his hair was rainbow colored.
Yeah.
So he landed on his back and he turned his head, and when he turned his head, his hair just kind of whipped around, and it was just like a perfect rainbow.
Oh, that's funny.
Just spinning in the air.
Check that out. I did notice, like, the way you can tell it was, as safe as possible, was the Edge landed first. You can see Edge's legs hit the ground first, and kind of, in the best he can, they're both still falling, holds Jeff to stop that from just falling directly on his back.
Before we hit our separate superstar talk, I want to hit one more notable match from those days. This was the... I'm correct. Yes, it is the 2000 Royal Rumble, where it is the Hardys versus the Dudley Boys in a tables match, a tag team tables match. And if you don't know what a tables match is when the first opponent to be put through a table is out.
Yes.
But both opponents have to be put through the table.
So can the other one keep fighting, or is the other one out?
The other one can keep fighting.
Oh, okay.
But if you get put through the table, you're out.
Gotcha.
You're on your own. But there was one specific spot in this match that I just absolutely love. They take it to the crowd. And they're just going at it. And at some point, everything happened in this one spot. Matt had got put through a table, I think. No, Bubba got put through a table. Yeah, Matt got put through a table. So Devon was the last one, I think. One of them. Anyway, Jeff, he just fucking disappears. You don't see him. And then all of a sudden you see Matt. He is putting either Bubba or Devon on a table. Jeff is up here on fucking staircase in the middle of the audience.
Yeah.
And hits a perfect swanton.
Yep.
And they win that match.
That's what I was thinking of then.
Yeah. That was Royal Rumble 2000.
Nice.
And then that, just forget about the rest of that pay-per-view. That match itself just did it for me. Like, obviously I love that time period, but just that match. I just want to watch that match.
Yeah.
So that's all the matches that I can think of as them. Other than them coming in. Okay, so I know you don't know much about this. At one point, Edge and Christian were the Los Conquistadors.
Yeah.
So Matt and Jeff had been out for a little while, whatever. Edge and Christian, they were doing a match just as Edge and Christian. And then all of a sudden, the Conquistadors come out. And they're hitting all the Hardy moves and everything. Everybody's like, what's going on? Who is this? And you got JR and the King over there. That's the Hardy Boyz moves. And then they hit the twist of fate, they hit the swanton, and they're walking back, like back to up the ramp or whatever. They take their mask off. It's the Hardys! It's the Hardys.
So it's another case of them stealing the Edge and Christian's like gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Man, if there was any way to see the four of them in one last match together.
I would love that. Honestly, all 6 of them.
Yeah, because other than Devon, everyone else is still wrestling.
Yeah.
Matt and Jeff and Christian are with AEW.
Yeah, I would love to see one more TLC.
Yeah, TLC. Well, there's already been a 3 technically, but
that one doesn't count.
no, because it needs to be the 3 teams.
Yeah, just one more. That's all I need, and my life would be content.
Yeah,
And I want it to be as hardcore ECW blood as possible.
they need to be taken out on a stretcher.
Yeah,
That's how this match needs to end.
we'll hit on that too later.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. But so yeah,
Who you want to do first, Matt or Jeff?
who? Because I'm trying to think. And I hate it because Matt has been around for just as long, and he's very talented. It just I don't really follow Matt as much as I follow Jeff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I wish that weren't the case. So for this section, I know there's something about Jeff Hardy. Like I'm thinking of Jeff Hardy fighting the Undertaker in that build-up. That's what I'm thinking of. But like what Matt had going on in that time, I'm not really sure. Well, when does Lita join the team? I guess we should talk about that, right? That's before they split, I think.
Yeah, Lita joined. Shit, when did she join? Man, she was. I'm pretty sure it was 2000, the year 2000, or maybe 21 or 2001.
Let me see.
I know when they broke up.
Who was that?
When they broke up?
For the first time?
Yeah.
That would have been 2003, right?
Yeah, but they weren't technically broken up. They were just kind of taking a break.
Oh, okay. May 2000 when she joined the team. Actually, that's when she joined the team and they became Team Extreme.
Okay. So you want to hit on that Undertaker match with Jeff? Well,
Yeah.
We'll hit with Lita. Lita was kind of their manager, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She helped them out a lot.
Yeah.
Lita is known as the extreme quote unquote diva back then.
Yeah, back when they used that term.
Yeah, but now she's a women's superstar.
She even became the women's champion at some point.
Yeah.
And at some point they discontinued it and then the Divas Championship took over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But we didn't even hit what year they split up. They split up in 2002.
Why'd they split up? Do you know?
I think they were just kind of going their separate ways. Also, it was part of draft.
Oh, so they got drafted to different places.
Yeah, because I think Jeff was still on Raw and Matt had got drafted to SmackDown.
That makes sense because at the time SmackDown was like the B show.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in every group, there's a Jannetty. I don't want to. Hardy was never. I mean, he didn't downward spiral like Jannetty, so he's definitely doing way better and has been.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, yeah, there's always a Jannetty, so he got moved to SmackDown, and they could see Jeff was starting to get some of his own singles run potential, and kept him on Raw.
My whole thing with that, there's always a Jannetty. Jeff was always the one to do something big. So therefore, everybody was always focused on Jeff.
Yeah, I think that definitely has to be why. Because I mean, you watch those matches. It's not like Matt Hardy was like scared of heights or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing as much extreme stuff as Jeff. But I think you're right. I think it's because Jeff went out, and I mean, he also got more colorful in his appearance too.
Yeah, but I mean, he was climbing 20-foot ladders and jumping off of them.
Yeah,
and another notable match that I had forgotten about was the Hardys versus Edge and Christian in a steel cage match. And Jeff,
oh yeah,
Matt was already out. He had escaped. He was done. Edge and Christian still in the ring. And here goes Jeff. He climbs up and then whisper in the wind off the top of the cage onto both of them.
And don't they end up losing the match? Don't Edge and Christian get out?
I think so.
Yeah, because I don't think... I mean, that's not the only time Jeff's done that. And it's not anything against him as a person, obviously. That's the way his story goes. But if you think about the inner logic of it, it's like, why wouldn't he just leave? I get he's extreme. But it's like
he's got to get the match. He's got to get that one big move.
He's got to get the thrill in. I guess I get it.
Get that adrenaline
story wise,
rush.
it's just kind of funny when you think about it. It's like, why though? You just win the match. Be extreme next week when you come back on Raw or SmackDown or whatever.
Yeah, but them together, they were 11-time tag team champs, whether it be WWE, Ring of Honor, where all promotions. They were tag team champions 11 times.
Let's not even mention how many belts they've acquired separately too since then.
Got them all.
Good. Yeah, I saw it on the list.
Got them all, bro.
Perfect.
All right. They split in 2002, so they go their separate ways. Jeff's on Raw, Matt's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Jeff's very first big match is against the American Badass, The Undertaker.
Because from what I remember, and that's why I was confused when they split up, was that Jeff was like, "Come on, man, we're not extreme anymore. We should do something extreme." And he went out, and I think he ruined an Undertaker match or just attacked him while he was fighting someone else.
I think he hit him in the back with a chair.
Yeah, and then there was a whole thing where Undertaker wanted to get him back, and Jeff kept avoiding him. And eventually, another great match is Jeff Hardy versus, like Michael said, the American Badass Undertaker. Actually, at the time, he was Big Evil. So he was the undisputed champion, which anyone who doesn't know, especially back then, you are undisputed champion. It means that you defend on Raw and SmackDown instead of there being a champion for just one brand or the other. So they had a pretty amazing, iconic ladder match with each other, and it's one that's really interesting in my opinion because the Undertaker isn't really known for ladder matches. He isn't really known for any of that big stuff. So yeah, that was a great match altogether, and unfortunately Jeff ended up losing. I think, if I remember correctly, Undertaker grabbed him off the ladder and hit the last ride and then won the belt. But as he was leaving, Jeff Hardy gets up on the mic and starts yelling like, "I'm not done, come back, fight." I forget what he's saying, but basically saying like, "You didn't beat me, I still got this, come back."
Yeah, he's like, "You can't break me, Taker."
Yeah. So Undertaker, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I remember that match so well.
Yeah.
He was wearing a green tank top. Jeff Hardy was.
Actually, I think it was white and he had green.
That's
he had like green paint right here.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yes, because when he came out to the entrance music, his head was like neon paint. But you're right. He hit he grabbed Jeff from the ladder and hit the last ride.
Yeah.
Undertaker ends up winning, and like you said, Taker. I'm pretty sure that was the only ladder match Taker has ever been in.
Probably. He's not. Other than Hell in a Cell, he doesn't really do much more than just regular matches.
Yeah.
Which isn't anything a knock against him.
And you got the casket matches in there.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Buried alive.
I'm thinking more extreme ones like ones where you're going up high heights and jumping down. But yeah, in that match, it was the most. I would say probably the most iconic moment is Undertaker goes to fight him again, but he kind of like respects Jeff now that he didn't give up, so he just raises Jeff's hand and leaves, and Jeff's just staring up like he thought he was gonna get his ass beat, so he's worried, but now he's happy that he got respect from the Undertaker, who at this point is over 10 years in the business as the Undertaker. I mean, he's been in longer.
Yeah, and I remember when he let go of Jeff's hand, Jeff just fell. He just fell to the ground.
Yep.
And his eyes are just wide, like, what the hell just happened?
But yeah, that was a great match.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that year of that match was 2003, and unfortunately, that's the same year that Jeff gets let go by WWE, or WWF at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Because he didn't, I don't know if he passed a drug test or...
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was. Yeah, he didn't pass a drug test. So he left, and he went to... And that may have been the same year TNA was forming, if I'm not mistaken. 2003. Maybe not. May have been formed a little bit earlier, but... 2004? Oh, okay. 2004, my mistake.
Well, they had already been around.
He just joined 2004?
Yeah, he joined in 2004. Gotcha. Just real quick, before we get into the TNA part of it... just hit on the titles that Jeff held on his own. He was two-time TNA Tag Team Champ. Not necessarily. I don't know if it was with Matt or not, because at some point Matt went to TNA.
Yeah.
He was 5-time Intercontinental Champion, which for some reason, whenever I'm playing a wrestling game, I always have Jeff as my Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, 2K22, and it's always the oval belt.
Yep.
2K22 is the same way for me.
Yep. And he got his big break. He won the WWE champ.
Mm-hmm.
So
2008.
yeah. And just one last thing before we hit on the TNA segment of Jeff Hardy. Were you watching it when him and Trish were dating?
Jeff and Trish? No.
Jeff and Trish Stratus dated.
That's funny.
Well, at least on TV.
Yeah.
You know, they were the couple. You know, they were. And, you know, I think it was one of those things where Trish may have felt bad for him. So she just, you know, started dating him or whatever.
I don't know, because it's not like he wasn't, like, ugly. It's like he was a loser character. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the storyline, so maybe it was that.
But he was different.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Jeff was the weird one.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
But, yeah, they dated for a little while. It didn't go anywhere. I think they just kind of dropped that storyline.
Yeah. Well, so let me see for 2004. I'm not totally sure where Matt is right now. Let me see.
He's still in WWE.
Yeah. At this point, is he dating Lita? Do you know?
Yes. They're still dating. He's Matt version 1. Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
He's got his posse, Shannon Moore. And I think Gregory Helms for a little while.
That sounds right, because he wasn't Hurricane yet, was he?
He was Hurricane before.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure about that. Let's see what we got here. So, looking at our notes here, we got he in TNA. He teamed with AJ Styles. I'm assuming AJ Styles, Randy Savage, and AJ Styles and Randy Savage. My bad.
Yeah,
who are they against?
I don't know. I just thought that was a cool thing because I honestly did not know that Macho Man was on TNA.
Me neither. I didn't know he was still wrestling at that point.
I didn't either.
Let me see. I'm curious who they went against.
All I remember was the Slim Jim commercials.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Slim Jim.
But yeah, I thought that was really cool. You know. Oh no, they went against Jeff Jarrett, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash.
Man, I want to watch that match.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty interesting. I mean, especially the idea of having Jeff, AJ, and Macho Man in a match. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I know in the 80s, Macho Man was like the high flyer, even though it was just like an elbow drop. So I'm curious if he was still doing any of that stuff when they fought, or if he was, you know, he's getting older. I wonder if he kind of was more of the
I think I actually have
stance.
I think I actually have the pay-per-view that match is on
DVD.
I think so.
Nice.
If I do, we should definitely check it out.
Yeah, that could be a fun one. After next week's episode, we could do that one.
Yeah,
because I would like to take a little break from WWE. Focus on something else.
Yeah, dude. I say we do TNA.
Let's do it. Because
there was a bunch of people that are in WWE now.
Yeah.
That were more high flying and more hardcore in TNA. AJ, Samoa Joe. There's one guy I really want to hit on. His name is Chris Sabian.
Yeah, I've heard about him a little bit.
Chris Sabin. I
think, it might be Sabian. I can't remember.
And Petey Williams.
Let's see. That match, the pay-per-view was Turning Point 2004.
I have it.
Perfect.
I have it.
Okay, so after, we are going to put something out on May 1st.
Is there a cover of it? I just want to double check.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah. So after next week's episode, May 1st, next week, the week after, I gotta find it. We'll definitely do this one because that sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Macho Man.
He looking rough?
A little bit. He doesn't look like the way Macho Man looks and what I imagine him looking like. He's got like a biker look.
He's like an NWO Macho Man.
Yeah, but he looks crazy.
Kind of like a Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah. But I mean, he was part of NWO at some point.
Yeah.
Back then, I think. Turning Point. Okay, let me find the picture.
Yeah, we will definitely hit on TNA because, like I said, so many different superstars in that promotion that are so good. They should definitely have went to WWE. Yep, I have it.
All right, sweet. Perfect.
So,
it'd be great if we could figure out a way to like burn it to another disc so I could take it home and watch it and you could watch it, you know. But so we gotta watch that one.
Yeah. There was another match that they have. I don't know the name of it. They have like 2 wires.
Okay.
Sorry for the quick intermission, junkies. A little technical difficulties, but we're back.
Yes.
We were talking about the X Factor match.
Yeah, the X Factor match. Because they had like a whole like X division, I think, in TNA, right?
Yeah. So they had 2 wire cables going around, or in an X formation, I guess, above the ring.
And there was like a dangling X in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't know if it was a briefcase, but
Yeah.
kind of like the idea of a belt or a case.
Yeah. So it was usually your cruiserweights going for it. AJ Styles, he was pretty much in every one of them.
Probably the king of the X division, I'd to say.
Well, I don't know. There's a couple of good ones. Chris Sabian.
Maybe I shouldn't say king, but
Yeah.
if you think of that X division, you're probably gonna think of AJ Styles.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not first, but
Oh,
he's
yeah,
up there.
definitely. But so yeah, but we'll talk about TNA another day.
Mm-hmm.
But as we're talking about Jeff, you know, he had a couple of runs in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
His first one was in 2004 to 2006, and then he got let go because drugs again.
Oh, he got let go from TNA?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought he just left to go back to WWE.
I think he did, but I mean, he got let go, but then he went back to WWE for a little short run.
Oh, okay. I thought once he was... Sorry. I thought when he got back in 2006, he was there until 2011. Did he come back for a short time, leave, and then come back to WWE? Because I'm pretty sure that was when he started to get more of the push, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, that's when he went on to win the WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other matches. Him and Matt, they had a match because they were no longer together.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole storyline. Matt didn't want him as a brother anymore.
Was he like jealous of his success?
Yeah, jealous of his career because Jeff had always got more attention. And they ended up having an I Quit match.
I forgot about that one. In WWE?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is where that stretcher comes into play that we hit on earlier.
I don't know what that is. We can go ahead and lead into it then.
So, during the match, Matt, he brought out a gurney.
Okay, yeah. I remember now. But go ahead.
So, yeah, not a stretcher, but a gurney. And somehow Jeff had gotten the offense. I can't remember how, but he ended up strapping Matt to the gurney, and he got on the gurney's outside of the ring at ringside, and Matt had got on the top turnbuckle, or Jeff, excuse me, had got on the top turnbuckle, and the ref put the mic up to Matt, and he's like, Jeff, I'm sorry, I love you, I quit. And Jeff jumped on him anyway.
Oh, I forgot he jumped on him anyway.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no remorse.
That reminds me, just a quick little tangent of when Big Show had Rey Mysterio on, I guess, the actual stretcher board, and he picked him up and slammed him into the turn post. Yes. But what I thought was really messed up, because I'm sure that still hurt, but why did the Big Show just let go? Why didn't he hit him and then kind of drop him down? He just literally hit and let him go face first, and he's strapped down, so he literally just had to land on his head.
I know that.
Why didn't he think to hit him and then something?
Good old
slide the man back into the ring, or I don't know.
Good old Paul White.
Yeah.
For you. If you don't know who Paul White is, that's the Big Show.
Yeah.
AKA Captain Insano.
Yes. Better known as Captain Insano.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so after that little feud with Matt, Jeff goes on to win the championship from CM Punk.
What championship?
The WWE.
I don't know if that's...
No, that was the World Heavyweight.
Yeah, but that was later on. I'm pretty sure he won the WWE Championship. It was at Armageddon 2008, and it was a triple threat with Edge, Triple H, and Jeff.
That's right.
And it's one of those things where I forget exactly who was winning, but I think maybe Triple H... I think Edge was beating Triple H. And I think he had him near the turnbuckle, and when Edge wasn't looking, Jeff Hardy did a Swanton Bomb, pinned him, and won.
Yeah.
Because it was a big celebration,
Yeah, I remember that, because he he had the belt and he like twirled it up in the air and everything.
Yeah, and he was just doing that thing where he holds it and looks at it, and, that thing that he does. And he even climbed like the scaffolding by the entrance, got up there and did his finger gun the thing.
Another match I want to hit on was Jeff versus Randy Orton.
Yep.
I can't remember if it was just an episode of Raw. I think I don't think it was a pay-per-view.
May have been SmackDown. I feel like it was probably Raw. You're right. I'm sure you're right.
Either way,
yeah.
So, literally the biggest spot I have ever seen, other than the Mick Foley Undertaker Hell in the Cell spot. Jeff climbs this.
I mean, it's one of those arenas that has like, I don't know how to explain it either. Just these weird metal things that build up towards the top of the
top of the arena.
Yeah, pretty much the top of the set at least.
So Jeff climbs halfway up, and Randy is just nowhere to be found. Like, he's at the bottom.
Yeah.
But Jeff climbs halfway up it, and he's easily, I would say, 40 feet up in the air.
Probably.
Maybe 50.
I mean, it's pretty high. You should look it up and see if they have any sort of record for it.
Yeah. And then he just hits that swanton perfectly.
Yeah. Man, we could easily have like a 20-minute tangent just on Jeff Hardy spots alone.
Oh.
I mean, there was that one where he did it off of a camera truck.
Yeah, onto Umaga.
Yeah. And of course, they cut away, so I don't know. It may have been more protected than it really was, but still impressive nonetheless. There was one actually I saw, and I think it was a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, maybe 2017, and it was Randy versus Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy did this thing where he literally grabbed onto the top of the cell. Randy Orton was down on his back, grabbed on top of the cell and swung his body to the point where when he landed, he would be like perfect to land on Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton moved too, so like he landed straight down.
Okay, so it was only 30 foot.
Yeah,
but still, that's taller than a 20-foot ladder.
I would get uneasy if I was at a 30-foot structure looking down. I would feel like
I get uneasy on the roof of my house.
Yeah, like I'm not necessarily afraid of heights, but yeah, I mean,
but that alone was just mind-blowing. And that's not the only time that's happened. Not necessarily somebody jumping off, but falling. Back in Attitude Era, there was a match, I think it was a street fight between Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman.
I forgot who was against. What are you talking about, though?
And Steve Blackman, they both climbing up the
same thing.
Thing.
I don't know what the structure is, but
and he had hit Shane O'Mac in the back with a kendo stick, and Shane just kind of pushed himself off.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Shane McMahon's bumps too, because I forget. I think it was WrestleMania, and I think it was Undertaker versus Shane McMahon. And, I mean, the cell is even bigger than it used to be. Yeah. And Shane did... I mean, he pretty much just dropped on his back, but it looked like an elbow drop. And Undertaker moved, and he just went through the table on his own.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff. I couldn't do that. I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
If I were to ever be a wrestler, I could maybe try some high spot stuff, but I don't know about getting on top of a cell and just going back first down to the ground.
Yeah, I see myself as more of a Undertaker type, powerhouse.
Yeah.
Maybe Otis, because I'm fat. I'm not.
No, not Otis. You're not Otis.
I'm not Otis. I don't know who I would be. But anyway, so yeah, he had another run in WWE, and then he returns to TNA in 2013, but not as Jeff Hardy.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we should talk about when he had to leave WWE, because that match in 2011. So basically, CM Punk was the champion, world heavyweight champion, and him and Jeff were feuding because Jeff is the drug addict and CM Punk's the straight edge guy. So they're kind of feuding over that, and they had a match on SmackDown, a steel cage, to where I don't know if CM Punk would have to leave, but it may have been like either CM Punk loses the belt or Jeff Hardy has to leave the show. And then, like, a few weeks later in 2000, I think it was 2011, he showed up on TNA. Because I remember the shot vividly where they had this weird... It was a cage match, but it was like this weird, almost silo-shaped cage.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I just remember Jeff Hardy. He's just sitting on top of it, and that's like the comeback to TNA. You know, 2011. Yeah. But 2013, who does he come back as?
He comes as Willow the Wisp. And a little backstory about Willow. That was actually one of his gimmicks when they first started Omega. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. You know, you brought in one of your childhood characters that you brought to life.
Yeah.
And just a little side note, Jeff Hardy, he creates art. He does he does all of his face paint. If you go watch the DVDs, he has his art everywhere.
Yeah. Well, here's something you might not know since you're not on social media. He actually cuts his grass in an artistic way where he makes designs and stuff in his grass.
I definitely believe that.
Which is crazy. It's just a funny thing.
Yeah.
A funny random fact, I feel like.
I do remember in one of the DVDs I have, he has his own... Now, I don't know if this is at his house currently or if it was at his parents' house or whatever, but he loves riding dirt bikes. So he had, a dirt bike track.
Yeah.
And he had made that into an art.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they did like a helicopter camera view of it, and it was...
Oh, so he made the track look like something?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He made it look like something. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of his Instagram, it's mainly just, especially when he was still working, and he's back now, but I don't know what he's doing exactly yet. He would just record him. It would usually be his face before face paint, so he would look straight at the camera, turn to the left, turn to the right, come in, he's got the face paint on, it would show you. And it was really cool what he was doing in the late 2000s, but what he's been doing recently, where it's been designing other faces on his face, and if he closes his eyes, it looks like eyes. Yeah. It's so random, but it's cool.
I like that.
I like seeing this stuff progress.
And the only reason I like eyeballs on the eyelids is because of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah,
and that is the only reason I love that. I think it's so funny.
I was thinking, I forgot what movie it was, but it was a movie where Justin Long's character got tattoos of eyes over his eyes.
What is it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Anyway, so he also had a bad experience in TNA with drugs. Most notable, he was supposed to fight Sting.
It was Victory Road 2011. I gotta say 20,000.
And he couldn't even make it to the ring.
No, apparently before the match they were having trouble finding him.
Yeah.
And there was something about, he always had these certain hiding spots, so they couldn't find him, and when someone finally found him, it was pretty much push him out, he's got to go out. So he's coming out, and he's obviously just so far out, he's looking around, but it doesn't seem like he really knows, and he's just stumbling, he tries to get up on the steps and kind of stumbles, and and then I don't know if Sting comes out.
Sting was already.
He's already in the ring. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because then Eric Bischoff comes out and he pretty much tells Sting end it now.
Yeah.
So Sting has to hit him with the Scorpion Death Drop and pin him in 10 seconds or whatever. I don't know how short it was. Yeah. And everyone was mad. The crowd was saying this sucks. And Sting was I think he was saying bullshit. And Sting was like, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. He was definitely pissed off.
Yeah. So in 2013 he comes back as Will o' the Wisp, and with that, he's wearing some sort of mask when he comes out, and it's almost kind of like, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but Psychosis, when he was part of the, WCW, he would come out in full luchador, attire, mask, and everything, but his mask had horns. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like that, and he would carry an umbrella that had the hypnosis spiral.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It had that spiral on it, and he would come out twirling it.
Yeah.
And just had this sinister look on his face.
Now I have questions because I don't really know the character that well. Was he still Jeff Hardy with the mask, or was he supposed to be someone totally different?
He was supposed to be someone totally different.
So it's not like a Mankind or Mick Foley kind of thing.
I mean, everybody knew that it was Jeff.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I'm just curious, kayfabe.
Yeah, kayfabe, definitely different. He was demonic.
I don't know if it was a Foley thing or not.
No.
Well, I was just going to mention something about Matt just a few years back, because it was around the time Jeff Hardy was WWE champion, and they had ECW going still. Matt Hardy was ECW champion at some point.
Yep.
Because there's actually a picture I saw recently of the two of them. He's holding that, and I really like that championship look. I mean, it doesn't fit ECW because it looks too produced to be for something that I think ECW would be with. Not anything against ECW, but usually they're trying to look as like grassroots as possible, and that was kind of an elegant belt. But I still like the way that silver ECW looks. 'Cause they don't really do silver belts very often.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt, he was an ECW champion. He was a U.S. champion, cruiserweight, TNA heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I want to say he was also tag team champions with MVP at some point. They had a feud.
Yeah.
Kind of with each other, against each other feud.
Yeah. Also,
I do want to go back, just before we get too far into the 2010s, what was going on with Matt, Edge, and Lita at the time. I think I want to say it was 2005. I don't know how it came out, but it came out that Lita was having an affair with Edge.
Yeah.
And I forget exactly.
Prior to that, Lita and Kane had a thing.
Yeah, because didn't he get her pregnant?
Yeah, quote unquote.
Yeah, and then she had a miscarriage because someone crushed the baby or something.
Yeah,
horrible.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go back. So yeah, Edge and Lita, they hook up, and Matt finds out, and it was a great storyline.
Yeah.
Perfect. They worked so well together all these years past, and just to bring it to an end with this storyline was just amazing. My
only complaint is that Matt Hardy loses.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's getting cheated on.
Yeah.
But, obviously they still gotta, and they're trying to move Edge up, so they're gonna push Edge still more than Matt. But it's a weird ending in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is when Edge turns into the rated R superstar.
I also want to know real life going on too. I think it had came out because Matt Hardy pretty much exposed them for doing it on MySpace, I think.
Yeah.
And he actually got fired from WWE for a little while because of the backlash that caused. Mm-hmm. But then they realized that there was so much heat there, actual real life heat to bring into the match.
Yeah.
That I don't know when exactly, but they reinstated him, and then they started having that feud with each other.
Yeah. But see, I thought for a long time, I thought it was just a gimmick. I thought it was just the story. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was real life until Matt was in the ring, and instead of saying Edge, he said, "Adam, you son of a bitch, get your ass out here, or I'm going to come find you." I was like, oh shit, he used his real name. Yeah. This is real. So, for those of you who don't know, Edge's real name is Adam Copeland. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he's like, "Adam, you son of a bitch." I was like, oh god. Yeah, okay, this is real, and it definitely was. Yeah. They beat the shit out of each other.
Well, I'm trying to think of some more instances with Matt before we move forward. I know him and Jeff Hardy had a match, I think at WrestleMania 25, and it was a similar kind of, I'm mad at you because you have all the success, so we're going to fight each other. And it wasn't really, most of their matches against each other are fun, but I don't know, most people just want to see them together, not fighting,
Yeah, you don't really, I don't want to see them fighting against each other because that was my childhood.
Yeah, it's some teams you might like to see fight if it's two people who aren't really good together. But it's they're brothers, and they were a tag team first, so.
Yeah. But, the feud with Edge, that was just... The one thing I remember the most was Edge and Lita walking in the back, and then here comes Matt out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is just in the back.
Yeah.
And slams Edge into a garage door.
Yeah, there had to be some real anger in there. I couldn't imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I know they've all made up for it now, and I know Matt Hardy's married and has 5 kids, so I know everyone's doing great, separately, Yeah,
and Edge, he's married to Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
And Lita is Lita.
I don't know if she's married to a wrestler. I'm not really sure. But she's back, and, so that's cool.
But, I often wonder, would Team Extreme ever exist again? Have they made those amends?
That's a good question. I'm not totally sure. I'd love to see it.
To work with each other again.
I'd love to see it, but the only downside is they're just with 2 different companies.
Yeah.
Like if it was lucky enough that Matt and Jeff were still with WWE or Lito's with AEW, it probably would happen.
Even if they did just a little short, cut scene in the back, like Lita's getting interviewed or whatever, and boom, there's Matt and Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, that would just make my day.
Or just some sort of acknowledgement, because I mean, you had Lita at WrestleMania, but other than Bailey doing the juke, like no one brought it up.
Yeah, and I noticed whenever Lita is wrestling, and when she goes, still to this day, she does the twist of fate.
Yeah,
but at the same time, she also does the Hardy Boyz hand signal, which is the gun.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
so
the gun and the Matt's little thing.
Version 1, but yeah, she still does that. So.
Yeah.
What's up?
I don't know.
Where you at, Team Extreme?
I hope something happens. I don't know. That'd be exciting. But let me think. I think next year Matt was in a ladder match at WrestleMania 26. And that was the one where he did a suplex on Ric Flair. And I think Ric Flair actually got hurt.
Was that the Money in the Bank?
Yeah. That was the opening match. I think at WrestleMania 26. I know CM Punk was there. Maybe Finlay. I forget who else.
Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time he ever ran up the ladder and jumped off. Yeah. I was like, oh.
Because that was when he was... I forgot what the Gold Standard, I think, was his... Because he dyed his hair blonde, and he went by, like, kind of the nickname as the Gold Standard.
Yeah. Okay, so we're thinking something different. I'm thinking of... Okay, he was in the very first Money in the Bank match.
I think so.
That RVD one.
But he was definitely at that one, too.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
But, yeah. Matt didn't win, I don't think. I'm pretty sure CM Punk won that one.
Yeah.
And I think, that would bring us roughly to 2013. So let's move forward now.
Yeah. So at this time, I'm pretty sure Matt is... He may be with TNA or may be working his way toward TNA.
I'm not really sure.
Around that time. I know he was there in 2016.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I was not watching it that much back then. But that was around the time Matt Hardy had his broken gimmick.
Broken Matt Hardy.
Yes.
That was crazy.
If you don't know the broken gimmick, Matt is just this... I would say like a crazy witch doctor kind of.
Because I want to say the story was like that he had so many brain injuries that which is a terrible storyline, quite honestly, but that he's changed because it's like almost like a witch vampire almost, because he's wearing these really long trench coats and he's his hair is like frizzed up. It's kind of looks like Sweeney Todd's hair in a way. It's kind of frizzed up and back, and he has that gray streak.
There was a wrestler in ECW who had pretty much the exact same gimmick. He was playing like a vampire type thing, and he came out with like the same coat. I cannot remember his name. It's in one of the magazines I got. But
yeah, it starts with an M, I think. Is it
maybe.
Mordecai or something?
I can't remember.
Let me check out when Matt joined TNA.
But yeah, he pretty much dressed the exact same way. But yeah, so Matt Hardy had his broken gimmick going on, and I wasn't watching it that much at that time, and I remember seeing clips on YouTube of Matt saying, "Oh, I have somebody deadly is coming," and the reveal came. Brother Nero, which was Jeff Hardy, and he had like these, I guess I could call them blind eyes. They were contacts, but it made his eyes look foggy. And he had like a zombie kind of look. Yeah,
he kind of like walked with his hands out, kind of zombie-esque.
Yeah, and that whole gimmick was just...
See, I want to...
To me, it was...
And unfortunately, I didn't get many notes of it, but I want to know more about that section. Did you get any notes for that section, or was it mostly the WWE side?
Yeah, it was mostly WWE.
That's fine. Well, I would like to go back at some point and I would like to look into it more because I was stopped watching at that point too, and figure out like the whole storyline of how it happened, and I would love to see that kind of stuff too. But I think it was 2017 WrestleMania 33. Matt and Jeff had the big moment where they came together again. Because it was originally a 3-team ladder match, and then the New Day came out and said, "Hold on, we got a surprise extra team." And where you hear the doom 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 doom, you hear them coming out. What you got?
Just real quick, that's not the first time.
Oh, it wasn't the first time they were back?
No.
Oh, okay, I thought it was.
No. All right, so we're gonna hit on this big time. So, what was it? New Year's resolution. Revolution. Yeah, New Year's revolution. I don't remember what year, but the Hardys, same thing. It was supposed to be a triple tag team match. And here comes Teddy Long.
Oh, okay.
He comes out.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hold on, players. I'm feeling good this year. So as a gift, I'm going to make this a fatal 4-way match." And here come the Hardys. And this is the spot that ended Joey Mercury's career.
Oh, yeah. But they were still with WWE at the time, weren't they? They had come back from somewhere? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was thinking they were still in the...
But, so this is pre-Broken and pre-Willow. So, the spot that is just, if you have a weak stomach, I wouldn't suggest watching it because they don't hold back. It's a ladder match, and it was the Hardys, Eminem. Who else? Do you remember?
I think it was just the two of them, wasn't it?
Was it just the two of them?
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I think it was just the two of them.
It may have been. I don't remember. Anyway, the Hardys, they have this very famous spot that they do. I call it the seesaw, where they get 2 ladders and... Oh, no. Okay, he only made it a triple threat because the other team was Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they were even there.
Yep.
That's funny.
So, anyway, they have this move called seesaw where they grab 2 ladders, they lay 1 ladder down, and then they put the other ladder into a seesaw effect on the resting ladder. Matt grabs both Joey Mercury and Johnny Nitro's heads and puts them right here.
Yeah.
And Jeff jumps on the other side of the ladder, forcing that side of the ladder to come up and hit them in the face. It's not supposed to actually hit them, but this time it did. And it shattered Joey Mercury's nose.
Yeah.
And his face, when that camera just cut to him, his face was just instantly swollen, bloody, and black.
Yeah, I don't know if it was both of his eyes, but at least one of his eyes was just swollen shut.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Oh yeah. It was.
And it's it's not even just it's a lot of blood coming out too.
Yeah.
What you would imagine happening if a ladder hit you in the face.
It just completely shattered his nose. I remember when he finally did, it was probably, I would say 2 weeks later, he showed up at that SmackDown and his face was still swollen and he just had a face wrap.
Yeah, and at some point he had that kind of a little mask on.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of like what Cody Rhodes wore when he was undashing, but it wasn't see-through because his face was actually busted.
Yeah. But back to what you were saying, when they returned this past, 5 years ago, maybe?
I mean, it would have been 2017.
Oh, okay.
I think it's pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, New Day comes out, make it a fatal 4-way. And one of the loudest crowd pops.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves the Hardys.
Anytime there's a Hardy comeback, I mean, no one's silent. And then they went on to win the tag team titles that match too.
Hell yeah!
I forget. It was I think it was the SmackDown title. I'm pretty sure it was blue, so it must have been SmackDown. I mean, but also maybe I'm wrong. It could have been both. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't remember who all. It was Sheamus and Cesaro.
Oh, I will have to look it up. Let me see.
I can't remember. I keep wanting to say Rhino, but I know he wasn't there. He was in a match with them in a tag team ladder match, but it was Rhino and Spike Dudley teaming up.
When was this?
I don't remember when, but it was the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus Rhino and Spike Dudley.
Okay. Let me see.
But I just can't remember who all was in that match.
Yeah, I'm trying to check it out, but in the meantime, we can move forward. I'll come back to it once I figure it out. Let's see where we're at now, because I had something else. Oh yeah, I know whenever Matt came back, because as cheesy as it was, the broken gimmick was pretty popular in TNA. So when he came back, sometime after the tag team title reigns, he came back as Woken Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah,
you remember that? And that's when he had a feud with Bray Wyatt. I think he teamed with Bray Wyatt, but also had a feud with him. And
I think they feuded first and then they teamed.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact order, but I know that they did a lot of cinematic matches, because in TNA they were doing a lot of cinematic matches, Matt, Jeff, and whoever they were against in the Broken universe for the final deletion. delete. Yeah, but so yeah, they started doing some more of those. He was Woken Matt Hardy. It wasn't too different of a gimmick. I don't quite remember the gimmick that well. And then that must have been around the time that he eventually left and joined AEW. I'm pretty since 2019. I'm pretty sure since 2019 he's been part of the AEW roster.
Yeah, and last episode, we were talking about my news that I had was that Jeff was supposed to be returning soon. We just didn't know when. And later on that night, you get the notification, Jeff returned tonight.
Yep. Yeah, actually, I think on, was it tonight's episode? Or no, it was a few nights ago. Matt and Jeff, so Jeff came to save Matt from something, some people. And then I guess we're supposed to hear from them. I forget if it was AEW Dynamite or Rampage.
Okay.
I need to go back and watch those. But I do want to add that when Jeff was there from 2017 till about 2021, I know for a fact he was a 24/7 champion for a little while. And I don't know if you really watched, but obviously that belt's pretty self-explanatory. But basically, you have to defend it 24/7.
Yeah.
It's similar to the hardcore title, but it's not as cool.
Oh, that was another thing I want to hit on. Jeff was also 3-time hardcore champion.
And I just saw Matt was too at some point in the early 2000s. Matt was also a European champion. He was a TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which you may have already said.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he went on to get a lot of success on his own too. It's different than Jeff's, but
and both of them, they're both different. Jeff definitely more of a risk taker.
Yeah.
Matt has had his fair share of risks, but Matt, in my opinion, was smarter about it because, he's still in good health.
Yeah, and I've noticed watching Matt Hardy matches, they're not as frequent, and when they are, he does, not anything against him, he still does some high-flying stuff, but it's not like what they used to do, which makes sense. When you're in your mid-40s and you still want to wrestle, you gotta tone down some of that stuff.
I haven't seen a good old Matt leg drop from the top turnbuckle, and I don't know how long.
Yeah, you should watch AEW more often because he's got some good matches from time to time. Doesn't wrestle that often, but he's got some good matches.
Now, I did read where Jeff, he's starting to slow down.
I hope so, but he did hit a swanton bomb at AEW already.
I saw that, but I did read something where he was like, he's probably going to do it less often because of all the back injuries that he's had.
Because I think at some point, again with WWE, I think he would say the swanton bomb for special occasions, and I think his other finisher had become like a second rope. body drop, maybe a leg drop. I'm not totally sure, but it was like a second rope move he had for a little while there. He also transitioned from a Twist of Fate RKO style to Twist of Fate Stunner style, which honestly I think is pretty cool, especially if you're going to have Matt and Jeff have the same Twist of Fate. It's cool to make it just slightly different.
Yeah.
So in effect it's similar, but
I always tend to like Jeff Hardy's more because he got more rotation.
yeah, he did a lot more like quick spins. Matt is a little bit slower on that, but not to disparage Matt because he's doing great and has always been very athletic and in good shape. So not even knock against him.
Yeah, definitely. If anything about this episode, definitely check out the innovator matches. You know, the Hardys versus Edge and Christian and the Dudleys. One of the biggest tag team feuds in history.
Yeah.
It was honestly the best time in wrestling. Because back then you had the Hardys, you had the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, DX. So many factions were going on. You had, what was Undertaker's, the Darkness or whatever?
The Corporate Ministry?
Yeah, the Ministry, that's it.
That's what we should talk about sometime too, because you said Acolytes earlier, and it reminded me.
Yeah, the APA, you had them.
I do quickly want to just hit on just Matt and Jeff in AEW, because it's not much, unfortunately, but they had a few tag matches. Jeff had a really good match against Darby Allin. I forget if it was Extreme Rules or a ladder match, I can't remember, but that one was crazy. Darby Allin, he's one of the, he's like kind of like the second coming of Jeff Hardy in a way.
Nice.
He does all the crazy stuff and jumps over and he hits, I mean, I forget who it was, but someone did kind of like an F5, but they didn't drop to him, and he did not block for some reason. He just let his face hit the ground. Like unfortunately it's impressive, but unfortunately it might not end well later on in his life, but that it's beside the point. It's very impressive what he's doing. I was just going to talk about just Jeff having to leave for a little while. So they were, I forget who all the teams were, unfortunately. Forgive me, I'm not much of an AEW watcher right now. But they had a ladder match, like a 4-way ladder match for the tag team titles there. But I think like a day or so before, Jeff got busted for drinking and driving, and we talked about this a few episodes ago. But he had to leave and go to rehab, and he got 10 years. He can't have a license, a lot of probation, time served. But he made a return recently to AEW, which we mentioned.
I think he has to wear a monitor for like 3 years.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough. I hope whatever he does, he stays clean. And I mean, if he were just to move to like a mentor position in AEW or WWE, whichever one he wants to continue with, like that would be good enough for me. I don't necessarily, maybe have him throw in a Twist of Fate every now and then, or have him do a Swanton Bomb from time to time. But it'd be cool to see him like take a back seat and maybe like just be teaching someone.
Yeah, I always pictured him teaching Matt Riddle for some reason.
I could kind of see that. Yeah.
Is that his name, Matt?
Yeah.
Riddle? Or is it just Riddle?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I don't know if it's. I honestly don't know. In the video games, in the video games, it shows up as Riddle, but I think it's also Matt too. So
I like Riddle.
Yeah, he's cool. Unfortunately, I've heard some bad things about him.
Yeah,
domestic abuse, I think.
Yeah, I like his
in-ring stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Just there's some wrestlers that aren't good people in real life, but I can still enjoy their in-ring stuff to a degree. Of course, like I still know what happened.
Now, I know I've said it. I think I said it last episode. To this day, I have only seen one person hit a perfect Jeff Hardy Swanton Bomb, and that is Kevin Owens.
Yep.
And how he does it just boggles me.
He gets the arms positioned the right way, the legs positioned the right way. He does the rotation like perfectly. It's not like he's just doing a front flip. It's like he's really going in and then twisting at the end.
Yeah, right at the last second.
But those recommendations are definitely good. Check out that stuff. I would recommend Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker match at I think it was just a Raw back in 2003. I think I'm not totally sure about that year. Somewhere in early 2000s. That'd be a good one to watch. Jeff and Randy had a pretty decent rivalry in like 2017, I think.
It was a little before that, I think.
Well, the one I'm thinking of It was the one with that Hell in a Cell match I was talking about, where he like
Oh,
spun
okay.
him. So it was kind of somewhat recent.
Yeah, you're right.
Um,
Was it Hell in a Cell or Elimination Chamber?
there was a Hell in a Cell there. I don't know if that was the whole pay per view. I think it was the whole pay per view was Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
But yeah, any other recommendations for Hardy's stuff? I'm trying to think of some newer stuff as well. I mean, if you want to see something crazy, check out Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy in TNA.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the 2010s.
Yeah.
Check out some of that stuff for some entertaining watches.
Yeah, definitely check out like Jeff Hardy's first couple of runs in TNA. There was a lot of good matches. I think he had a feud with AJ Styles for a little bit.
Probably.
He had a feud with Raven. Oh, that was a
Jeff
good
Hardy
match. Yes.
He also had a few good matches with RVD as well.
Yeah.
Some hardcore title matches.
They had a hardcore match, him and Raven, and it was brutal.
Why don't you check that one out? That one sounds good.
I have it on DVD.
Nice. Yeah, it's weird going back and watching Hardy's stuff. I forget just how athletic Jeff Hardy was. Like for me, I guess since I stopped watching it for so long, I just imagined in my head he just did big jumps. But then I see him like doing like not frog splashes in the right word. He does those, but springboard jumps. He just does them so effortlessly.
Yeah. What you said him doing other moves and stuff that just jogged a memory. WrestleMania 2000. It was the first tag team ladder match, I think.
Yeah.
Jeff actually hit a 450 splash.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot I used to do that too.
Somebody had put a ladder on top of Edge, and he hit the 450.
Oh.
Because he's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Another feud that he had in TNA was against Abyss. And Abyss was like a mixture of Undertaker and Kane.
A little bit of Mankind too.
Yeah, because he had the whole, I'm going to talk like this.
Yeah.
And then he had the mask like Kane, and he was just big.
Yeah.
I always thought Abyss would have been a good WWE character, but he never had a WWE run.
I think technically he did, but he wasn't Abyss. He was playing like someone's nerdy manager or something.
No.
He had a suit on and glasses, and his hair was short and slicked back.
No.
Let me look it up here. But the CM Punk and Jeff Hardy feud in 2010, 2011. That's another good one to watch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of real life stuff kind of thrown in there. But let me see what that, because I forget. I saw a video of it recently. He was someone's manager, I think, in WWE. I'm not totally sure.
Okay. Well, yeah. Please. But yeah, the Attitude Era, New Brood. Definitely check those out. Highly recommend all of those matches. All the TLC matches. If it's not... This is just me personally. If the Hardys are not a part of any TLC and or ladder match, it's not going to be good. But that's just my opinion, because they helped create it. And they knew how to bring the show home.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's definitely good ones, but I know what you mean. Like, nothing... I mean, I can't think of any other ones, so that just goes to show that as long as you have the Hardys in there, you're going to have something memorable, because, I mean, I can't think of any other ladder matches that are as impressive right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm still trying to see that thing about Abyss, but it's taking me a minute to get there. Oh, well. Check it out afterwards. Well, I think this is a good place to stop here. We're just going to wait and see where the Hardys go from here. Hopefully, bigger and better things. Hopefully, Jeff stays clean, whether he stays wrestling or he retires. I just hope they both have a healthy life and they're able to live, another 40 years if they can.
I'm still going to hold on to my dream of Team Extreme making a return someday.
I don't even need to see them wrestle. If I could just see them together, just hanging out, like behind, backstage or something.
What I want...
I'd be happy.
What I really want is... I'm not so much as worried about Matt, but Jeff, I just want him to be alive when they get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Me too. I don't want it to be a posthumous,
Yeah. I want... And I would love it if all three of them, Matt, Jeff, and Lita, were right there getting inducted. Yeah. What, is Lita already inducted?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, but she could get inducted as a part of Team Extreme.
Yeah. Just I would love it if all three of them were there.
If I had to guess, they probably would do just Hardy's.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would be cool. They could do both. They could do 1 year Hardy's, 1 year Team Extreme. I think you can be inducted for teams separately from you as a person. I would love to see it, though, because even though they're not with WWE right now and they've been to TNA a few times, I still feel like WWE's kind of their home.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it always has been.
Like, unfortunately, as big as TNA has been and as big as AEW have been, they've never been as big as WWE.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's their home, but wherever they want to be is where they want to be. And as long as I can see them in some capacity, whether they're wrestling or not, I'll be happy. I just hope, like you said, to see Jeff make it to whenever they get inducted, which I hope. I mean, it should be soon by now.
It has to be, because it's been over 20 years.
Yeah.
But I also, I'm going to call you out. Triple H, Paul Levesque, Stephanie McMahon. Make it happen. I want a true TLC 4.
Yes.
Hardy's, Edge and Christian, Dudley's. Make it happen.
Yes.
And I want it attitude, style.
Mm. What?
And I want JR as a commentator. And I'll even take the King as a commentator.
Oh man, we only have a few more years left before that's no longer a possibility.
I know.
JR and Jerry, unfortunately. Honestly, it seems like Jerry's in the worst shape.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
He just had a heart attack.
JR, but not against JR, but maybe had a stroke.
Yeah, he had a stroke recently. He had a heart attack on live television.
Yeah.
That was a different day.
Well, let's see. So we're going to put this episode out next, and then after that, it's going to be the special request episode.
The Battle Royale of 91 at Albert Hall.
Yes, and let me get the date right, and hopefully we can figure out something. No, we're going to do the TNA one. Okay, never mind. So we got something for May 8th planned. So tune in for May 8th if you want to see... Damn, what was that pay-per-view called? Turning Point 2004. If you want to see that. I don't even care if it's a bad pay-per-view. I just want to see that match. Yeah. Jeff, AJ, Randy versus Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Jeff Jarrett. I'll be set if that's all we watch. We just have a 20-minute episode. That's all we talk about. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Mm-hmm. Junkies. Keep listening. And that's the bottom line. Because Squared Circle Junkie said so.
Hell yeah.